Stocks of interest is always a popular subject. Let's take a look at some of the stocks that caught my eye this week. Another one. Here's a story. Another story on NIO, and I am going after NIO because I think that instead of just getting pop stories about, hey, go buy this stock, blah 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 blah, I'm really going after you guys really truly understanding what's going on behind the stock and understanding how the VectorVest software will help you to make a better decision to at least clean out all of the other data that you're getting. Let's give you guys useful information. NIO. Tesla is currently the leading EV seller in China. However, NIO, there it is quickly catching up. That's big in and of itself. Tesla's in China. Tesla is the leading stock in this industry, but NIO is catching up, and it has rewarded shareholders with 581% year-to-date gain. Now, you look at that without looking at a company or software like VectorVest, you go, man, I missed out on all of that. Let me go get in. All right. Now, there's two more upstarts with similar potential: Li Auto, which I've talked about on Trending Thursday, and XPEV, which I've also talked about on Trending Thursday. But I want to look at specifically NIO because this is a stock that's all over YouTube as a stock. Here's the stock. All right, NIO. And I'm going to take a look at that, and we're going to give a real good look at that. And Clayton, we're going to look. I'm going to bring you back on when I go to analyze all of the stocks. You good with that?
I'm cool.
All right, next story. Someone said to me, Glenn, you got to look at Skyworks because with all of the 5G that's coming up, Skyworks is going to play a big role in it because is it worth it or not? Is it working? Is it not working? So Apple's latest generation of iPhone has been announced and will go on sale early November, and the new devices could not come out at a better time as the world transitions to fifth generation networks. The company reportedly has millions of iPhone users that are currently in an upgrade now, and I'm in the upgrade window right now for a new phone, and I'm going to wait for it. I want to pay off my phone this time. And then I'm going to go buy a new iPhone 12. Where's this? Oh, man, it's something. Where's the rest? Oh, there it is. Story continues. That's what I'm like. All right, let's scroll down. And specifically, I wanted to look at Skyworks, okay? Skyworks Solutions is likely to step on the gas. All right, Skyworks Solutions has scheduled a release of fiscal 2020 quarter results for November 2nd. That's going to be a big day, and you know something? Skyworks may not be a bad position to look at, but let's let VectorVest help us to know if it is or not. The chip maker expects its top line return to growth and earnings to remain flat, but there's a possibility of the chip maker outperforming its own expectations. That's interesting in this field to say that they think it's going to remain flat, whereas Skyworks Solutions could play or will play a big role in 5G. That's because Skyworks gets just over half of its revenue from selling radio frequency chips to who? Apple, which is a market that is expected to record terrific growth thanks to the advent of 5G smartphones. So the Apple phone, 5G phone, has a possibility of catapulting Skyworks in the near future. All right. Skyworks peer like Qorvo has also pointed out that each 5G smartphone could create additional content opportunity, $5 to $7 for RF chip makers as a result. Skyworks stands to gain from a combination of both volume and content growth from the latest generation of iPhones, which are expected to become Apple's greatest hit since the iPhone 6. Whew. Skyworks may be a company to keep your eye on. Another stock that's moving, Snap. Snap. All right, personally, I'm not trading Snap personally, but in our jockey club, we picked it up this morning. All right, Snap roars 28% higher to a record $50 billion valuation, brings Twitter and Facebook along for the ride. So Snap, man, I don't even know how to Snapchat. I don't know how to TikTok. I don't know. All I know how to do is I'll probably go to Clayton for that because I don't know. All I know about Instagram. I know about Twitter. I know about Facebook. I know about Messenger. But I don't know about Snapchat or TikTok or Ring-a-Ding or Flap-a-Jap or none of that stuff. All right, so that's outside of my realm. Actually, I have a Pinterest account, and I just look at that for recipes. That's all I really look at it for is recipes. I guess that's the old people in me to look at Pinterest for recipes. All right, another one. Google. Now, this is huge. Google shares rise amid landmark U.S. antitrust suit. Pledge to fight back. So Google says, we ain't going down. We're going to fight. You know what we're going to do? We're going to fight back. Interesting. Investors look remarkably calm about the biggest tech antitrust case in decades, as Google is reclaiming its October high levels on volume running slightly high but not overheated. Millions of Americans rely on the internet and online platforms for their daily lives, says the U.S. Attorney General William Barr, commenting on the suit filed by the Justice Department and 11 states. This is big. Competition in this industry is vitally important, which is why today's challenge against Google, the gatekeeper of the internet. You understand it said Google, the gatekeeper of the internet. Somebody asked me, so what is the browser that you use? Chrome. And you remember that back in the days when people were looking at, what was it? Internet Explorer. That was it. All right, but Google claim that now. When you start, now somebody says instead of looking up something, Google it. I know you hear that. Well, what is this? Google it. I think that just comes right off of everybody's tongues right now. This lawsuit strikes at the heart of Google's grip over the internet for millions of American consumers, advertisers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs beholden to an unlawful monopolists. So you think about it, if you want to do stuff on Google outside of just looking for stuff, you want to advertise on it, Google sets the terms, and it's not like I think you can go to somebody else and say, well, I want to compete. Can you compete with Google's terms? And probably not. And that's why this lawsuit is out there. Another big one, Bitcoin. Everybody and their mama talks about Bitcoin on YouTube. Everybody. Interesting story says Bitcoin now has a 7% chance of beating $20,000 highs in the next $20,000 highs in the next 2 months. We'll take a look at it. I've been telling you that Bitcoin is a very speculative place to be, but we'll take a look at it. We will definitely take a look at it. And Salim says Skyworks has earnings in 11 days. I'm just telling you in regards to Skyworks, remember what we learned about in options? How's a good way to play earnings? Buy a protective put. Just think about that. All right? That might be a good way to do that. Joey brought this to my attention. GM sells out of first year of electric Hummer production. Hey, Clayton, did you see the video on the GM Hummer?
I didn't see the video, and I saw a picture somewhere of it, but I didn't see the video.
Dude, that video is sick.
Really?
So, with that all-electric Hummer, that really is sort of kind of a dichotomy of sorts. An electric Hummer. Most people looked at as a Hummer as a gas-guzzling vehicle. And now we're coming out with an electric Hummer. This thing, the model that they sold out of right away, we saw the video. Huh? 1,000 horsepower on an electric vehicle?
Oh, my God.
0 to 60 in 3 seconds? The thing can do a crab walk. It can move diagonal.
What?
And then it's got some kind of a mode where it can raise up 6 inches to get over rocks. This vehicle is sick. And the value and the price of the vehicle that they sold out of in their first putting it out is $112,000. And then by the year of 2023, they're going to have their lower model, and it's going to start off at like $78,000.
Jeez.
So, but it just listening to when did you ever think you would hear an electric Hummer? I mean,
Never.
That's just crazy. There's a video, if you go to their website, go to GM Hummer, there's a video. The video is sick. So I'm going to look at if the buzz about this new vehicle, what VectorVest thinks about it. All right, and my last story is going to be in the coronavirus space. Death reported in Brazil, study of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. That's the scary part about Operation Warp Speed for coronavirus stocks, is that they're trying to get a vaccine quick, which I totally understand. I totally understand. And, I'm glad that they're catching the things that, before you put it out mass market to the American people or just worldwide. My personal opinion is I don't think that we will ever truly find out the effects of these vaccines until 10, 20 years down the line. All right, that's just the reality of it. All right, so those are my stories. Let's go pull them up. Keep in mind that I've got a watch list of stocks. And the beautiful thing about this watch list is that it's automatically sorted by our master indicator, VST, which consists of value, safety, and timing. So the stocks that have the best combination of value, safety, and timing will be at the top of the list, sorted all the way down. This is where you get the rest of the story. All right, this is where you get the rest of the story. So when we look at Snap being up 28% and it's rocking and rolling, let's analyze the stock. Actually, Clayton, analyze Snap for us.
Well, I mean, right off the bat, if we're just going left hand to right hand, we can see the price is at $39 and the value is at $2. So this stock is definitely overvalued. So for me, this would be a trade. This wouldn't necessarily be an investment if I were going to buy this stock. And like you say, you got into it this morning with the Jockey Club, Glenn. I don't know how long you plan on holding it.
It's got a 4% stop on it.
Okay, that would be good. Up 6% today. It's definitely moving. Relative value doesn't exist. I mean, it's at 0.03, and like we just talked about the value. Relative safety, it's under 1, so it's definitely not going to be considered a safe stock. Relative timing, yes, if it is up 28%, or if was the price of the stock up 28% recently, or
it was recently over the last couple of days the stock had run up to 28%.
So that's definitely why the RT is at 2.0 right now. And but RT can stay up there. It doesn't just mean that it's hitting a top or anything like that. I think it was actually during the summit, I forget who it was now, but they were saying, think of RT like the gas pedal. You can keep the gas pedal floored, and that just means we're at 2.0 on the RT. So it doesn't mean that it's necessarily topping out or anything, but it's definitely moving right now. But hey, look at the VST score. I know that's probably being drawn up a little bit because of RT, but VST is good on it, and the comfort index is good as well. So, I don't know. Snap definitely could be a good trade. If you got into it this morning with the Jockey Club, hopefully we hit that. You get a 4% stop loss?
Yeah, I got a
10%
gain, 4% loss. I let them know that it was a trade.
Sweet.
I did let them know that it was a trade. We'll see what happens by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
All right. You know what else catches my attention about this as being a trade? Stock's got negative earnings per share. It's got an earnings growth rate of negative 6%. So for long term, I'm not feeling this. This is a news-driven stock. If you jump on board with it, make sure you're buying into it as it's rising, but trade it just like Clayton said. Trade it with a trade mentality. It is with a trade mentality. So let's go look at GM. That Hummer is hot. Man, I'm right now, my vehicle of choice that I'm probably going to get either later this year or early next year is going to be the Jeep Gladiator. That's the vehicle I want. But you know something? I'm liking that GMC Hummer. That thing is hotness. That thing is like,
There you go, Glenn.
Ooh, I'm just. You need to look at the video for it. That video is sick.
I should watch it.
All right, so analyzing the stock's at 37, value at 27. Stock is clearly overvalued. Our mantra is to have you in a safe, undervalued stock that's rising in price in a rising market. Because the stock is overvalued, though, doesn't make it a bad thing. Let's go over to the relative value. Looks at a stock's upside potential as compared to a AAA corporate bond. Above 1 in these indicators, RVRS, RT, VST, and CI, are all cast on a scale between 0 and 2, where above 1 is favorable and below 1 is unfavorable. General Motors has a relative value at 0.73, below the value of 1. A AAA corporate bond over the next 1 to 3 years should outperform GM. Relative safety at 0.85. Relative safety is an indicator of risk. Relative safety looks at the consistency and predictability of a company's financial performance. Why is that important? Because earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. Okay? When I look at relative safety, that incorporates all of the financials behind the stock, debt to equity, price to book, all of that stuff is all encompassed in relative safety. So you don't have to go look through all of these charts. On that scale between 0 and 2, below 1, the stock is a little bit more riskier stock. Just like what happened with Snap and what Clayton talked about, relative timing on General Motors is way above 1. The stock is definitely in an uptrend. As I look at this, it's got a VST of 1.25. In this list of 8 stocks, it is definitely number 2. Negative earnings growth rate. Why is that? They are not growing their earnings. Now, they do have a positive earnings of $4.70. Something tells me they've spent a lot of money on a lot of different things in order to get a negative growth rate. There's a lot of money outlay, and I could probably go through, scour the market to find out the specific story behind that. But they've got a negative earnings growth rate. If earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher, we want to see positive earnings growth rate. Sounds like GM is also a trade stock and not an investment, right? And actually, Arson, I'm feeling the same way on that. Stock's overvalued, upside potential, safety. Fundamentally, the stock is not sound. Technically, the stock is in an uptrend. Now, CI, the stock's ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines, is below 1. This stock is susceptible to big pullbacks. Keep that in mind. Whereas Snap is not as susceptible to big pullbacks. Even though it's a trade as well, I feel a little bit more comfortable that Snap will have the propensity to keep moving higher a lot more, a lot quicker than GM. All right? NIO. Man, I'm going to attack this on YouTube a lot. And I already told you why I'm doing that earlier. And you like, yeah, that's right. But that's between us. Right, Clayton?
Exactly.
Absolutely. But anyway, analyze NIO for us.
All right, so NIO, I mean, just looking at the numbers, it's very similar to Snap, just based on the different indicators that we have here, but obviously overvalued. It's trading at $27. The value's at $1.72 right now. Going over to relative value, very low relative value at 0.20. Relative safety, I don't know too much about NIO, so I don't know if this company's been around for a while.
It's relatively new. It's okay. Going after the Tesla world. So in Tesla,
Tesla's going to be tough to compete against, but the relative safety being at 0.81 could definitely come from it being a newer company. I don't know too much about the company. I've never had a chance to check it out before. Obviously, it's in an uptrend, though, as well. We look at relative timing, and we see that it's at 1.84, so this stock is definitely moving higher, which is going to help that VST score go back above 1 because we're showing at 1.24 right now, and I know that's being buoyed up by the upswing that we're currently going on. But 1.72 in the CI. Now, if we're looking for a stock that's going to be able to withstand lengthy downturns, NIO could be your ticket. It's rated to hold right now, but look what we're doing with earnings growth. Earnings are negative right now, but earnings are growing. So this definitely could be something to look for. And guys, everybody needs a competitor. If NIO turns out to be the one that competes against Tesla, and this is a newer company, I mean, come on. They could go through the roof.
I like that it's moving up. Not only that, but it's got the propensity to go up more than it goes down. Whereas with the General Motors, interesting that it's going to have a propensity to be a lot more jagged or susceptible to pullbacks in the stock. So NIO, is either one of us telling you not to buy it? No. But what we are telling you is look at it more as a trade right now until the stock can build its own credibility to be more of a stock that you would hold long term, like an Apple or like a Lowe's or something like that, or a Tractor Supply. This is not that company yet, but knowing that it is in competition with Tesla at this price of $27.50, by all means. But if it's a trade, you trade it as such, and it's optionable. You want to leverage your money even more, buy the options on it. Buy the options, and then because of its ability to withstand longer length of price declines, when it does go down, if you buy the option, no matter what happens bad to NIO, the most money you can lose is the premium you paid. That's it. That's the beautiful thing about stocks that are trades. Play the options. You're limited to how much money you can lose. Ooh, I like that. That's a good little thing I saw right there. What's the difference between the red and green colors changing from the last tick? If it's green, it's higher than the last tick. If it's red, it's lower than the last tick. That's it in a nutshell. All right, I'm gonna go through, look at Google real quick. Very close to its value, even though it's overvalued. That news about the lawsuit, well, the stock is still up today. Stock has got good upside potential at 1.03 on relative value. This is a very safe stock in our database. You have to stop saying NIO, it's Tesla competition. No, it's NIO. You know, Lynn, do you want the green pill or the red pill? You pick. And when the time comes, I'm going to take you to the Oracle. Don't worry about the vase. What vase? Shh, told you. All right, never mind. All right. I don't know where that just came from. You just made me do that, Lynn, on the fly. I could quote you so much from that movie. I could definitely quote you so much from that movie. All right, so looking at Alphabet, knowing that the suit is coming against it, right now investors are not feeling it yet. All right, right now NIO, he got me saying NIO, Lynn. Right now investors are not feeling it yet. But I would definitely keep my eye on it. But the indicators, relative value, relative safety, fundamentally it's sound. It's above one as far as relative timing. Look at that earnings per share, and they're growing their earnings at a clip of 6%. With the news, though, I would at least tighten stops. What's a good way to protect yourself against it? It's optionable. Buy a protective put. Think about it from that perspective. So God forbid the story hits, it's already hit, and then it starts to move around and people get scared and the stock's price goes ballistically lower, that put will protect you. That is full protection. All right, something like this that looks solid in bad news about a suit, I think any of you can do well if you own the stock by buying the put. All right, go to the next one, Clayton. Skyworks.
Skyworks, very similar to Google with all of its indicators. Price is overvalued, but slightly overvalued. And just moving right over to relative value, we're just below 1 at 0.88 right now. Relative safety at 1.42. This is definitely going to be one of the safer stocks that we have in the database as well. 1.17 for RT. It's in an uptrend, yes, but it's definitely not powering forward like some of the other trades that we have in here, such as NIO and Snap. VST's trading around, 1.19 right now, so it's above 1. That's a good stock to be into. Comfort Index is at 1.49, so the stock is also able to withstand those lengthy downtrends. It's got that buy rating. Earnings per share are doing pretty well at $6.67, but growth rate's negative. So they're not able to grow their earnings at this time. Hopefully, if they do have some pretty good deals with Apple going on out there and the iPhone 12 really moves Apple forward, these guys can move along with them.
Excellent. All right, let's go. Everybody, I told you, everybody and their mama is talking about Bitcoin. Everybody. Hang time, are you in here? I know you are. You're probably talking up a storm. I know you are, but that's not a bad thing. I like that you always got something to say. I really do. But I look at Bitcoin. I'm going to use Riot Blockchain. Stock is trading at $4, a value of 90. I keep saying that Bitcoin is a rather speculative play. But wait, watch this. upside potential and relative value, not there. Relative safety, not quite there. This is what catches my attention. As a speculative trade, what I am interested in is if the stock's in an uptrend right now, and currently Riot or blockchain or cryptocurrency in this case is. It is in an uptrend right now. Could this be the right time to buy? When we look at the graphs, we're going to take a look at it. But blockchain or cryptocurrency comes up a lot on YouTube. All I'm trying to do right now is set you in the right mindset to know when it's okay or not okay to be in cryptocurrency. Negative earnings per share, they're not growing it. I am still super speculative on Riot. But when we look at the graphs, could you have some of your money in cryptocurrency? The answer to that is always could be yes. But I would put a lot less money than, I'm not backing up the truck and putting my retirement into cryptocurrency. All right. I'm not going to talk about the spiders in the VVC. We already covered that. So these stocks that made the stories that are my stories of interest, I'm going to highlight them all. All right. So these are my stocks of interest this week. I'm going to right-click, view the stock graph. All right. Maximize it. I think, Clayton, you're still good where I need you to be. As a matter of fact, can you move him a little bit more left? I might want to see.
We can either do this. Like that.
But I still need to see the stuff that he's hiding.
You can see it right here, but they can't.
Right, they can't.
Okay, then I can do this.
Well, all right. Well, he can still see. He can still see.
There's nothing even there.
What's not even there?
There's nothing in this.
Well, shut up because I'm going to stop yelling at me. I will fight you on screen. Hold on. I will fight you on screen. All right. So, I still love Joey, though. I want everybody to know that I love Joey. All right. So now, I'm going to put this on a 3-month graph, and there's a couple of things that I want to keep your eyes on whenever you're analyzing and when you're analyzing any stock. Wow. Lynn said replace him with Glenn's image. No, don't. I'm not doing that. All right. So I'm going to take off some things. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to keep that up there. Earnings. I am going to take off, remove that item. I want to put on an EMA 20. I'll need growth. I'm going to add the parameter of relative value, add relative safety, and this relative timing. All right, we're going to really analyze RVRSRT. Every stock that we're going to look at, we're going to analyze. All right, Riot Blockchain, 20-day exponential moving average. And that's not an exponential. Take that off. Remove that. That's the 20-day exponential. Change the style. Let's take a look at it. So we looked at the news. What did I say? Well, is this the right time to be looking at blockchain right now? Interesting. RT is above 1. Not only that, the price went recently above the 20-day exponential moving average. Why am I using the 20-day? I got a middle-of-the-road moving average. Middle-of-the-road moving average. But I want you to concentrate more so on the VectorVest indicators. Earnings per share, still below 1. They're not making money, and earnings is the engine that drives the stock's price higher. Earnings growth rate, below 1. They're not growing it in a positive way. What does this become? More of a technical trade. A trade. It went above the 20-day exponential moving average. Soon after that, RT did go above 1. Put those two things together. Price moving above the exponential moving average, RT above 1. This, in this space right now, could be a good time to be in blockchain. Hang time. Does that make sense to you? And anybody who's out there looking at this, and I'm still going to call it a speculative industry. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But can we time you to get in it at the right time? Going above the 20-day exponential moving average, RT going above 1, currently above 1. A small portion of your money could be there. All right? A small portion of your money could be there, and that's what I'm showing. Hey, Clayton, anything you want to add to that? I'm going to put this back on the 3-month graph. Anything you want to add to that?
No, you're talking about a trade. I mean, I think
Right.
that's, especially if you go along with some of the stuff we learned about this when the swing trading during the summit. I mean, using moving averages, look at that trade right there. You went from a little above $2 to trading at $4 right now.
Absolutely.
It's a big move.
All right, so I'm with you on that. All right, what's the next stock in the list? Snap. Phew. Woo-wee. What else do I want to look? I wanted to look at CI, capital appreciation. Let's go. Nobody's got CI but us, right, Clayton?
Exactly.
CI is the
Guys,
stock's
need it,
ability
yes.
to stay. Look at that move on CI. The stock's ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines. Look at the beautiful move on Snap, staying above that 20-day exponential moving average. Now, earnings per share below 1. Earnings growth rate is falling. From a technical standpoint, now you see why the stock jumped up 28%, why it's still running, why for me this is still a trade. RT above 1, the stock does have the ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines, but these are the things that concern me. Earnings below 1. They're not positive on earnings, not positive on earnings growth rate. And even with today's buy that I did in the Jockey Club, this is going to concern me as well. The volume is not as big as it was the prior day. Volume is conviction, and this is why today's trade is just a trade. What about the closed green candles on Riot? When I go back to Riot, the closed green candle means that today's price is lower than the open. Today's price is lower than the open. But even with today's closing price or price lower than the open, what's the stock's price doing? I got a little bit of a pullback in Riot, but definitely above the 20-day exponential moving average. If you want to make it faster, bring it down to a 3 or an 8 or a 10 exponential moving average to trade the stock a little quicker. All right? All right, so that's Snap. Anything you want to add to Snap?
Glenn, I wish you would have told me about it 3 days ago.
You know what I could have found for you? I could have found for you in a search, stocks price jumping above the 20-day exponential moving average,
Exactly. I
RT,
would
going
think,
from below 1
Tell me
to
about it last month, right?
yeah, going
Would've
from
been even
below
better.
1 to above 1. I can make a search like that in VectorVest.
Yeah.
I can make a search like that in VectorVest and find Snap way back here. So there's a lot that we can do.
It looks like you would have stayed in it too. I mean, if you got impact there with that search you're talking about, I don't see a reason why you would have got out.
Especially using that 20-day exponential moving average. That's
Right.
a great way to manage the trade, isn't it?
Right.
There you go. All right, next stock, GM. Remember the negative earnings growth rate on it? And the earnings are positive, going down over the last 3 months. I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of outlay of money that the company's putting out there, but look at that. Now, something catches my attention here. Stock's price above the 20, moving higher. What's volume doing for the last 3 days as the stock is going up?
Moving lower.
Yeah, just keep that in mind from a tech standpoint. All right, from a tech standpoint, keep that in mind. RV below 1, RS below 1. The stock is moving higher. RT is above 1. CI is picking up. The stock is moving up nicely. I would definitely, put some kind of line in the sand or use the moving averages as a way to manage that trade. Anything else?
No, I don't have anything else on this graph here.
All right, real quick, let's go to NIO. It's hit the news all over the place, isn't it? And it's trying to compete against the Teslas. Earnings per share, negative. Earnings growth rate. They're still growing their earnings at a clip of 8% a year, but look at the drop-off on it. You asked if it was a new company. Let's put this on a 1-year graph, put this on a 5-year graph. It started a couple of years ago, 9/10 of 2018. It fell, but most recently, since all of these electric vehicle cars are getting into the market, the stock has started taking off. So I like it. Right now it's consolidating. If you're in it, I'd give you to the 20-day or to the 10-day exponential moving average to get out of it. RT is above 1, but pulling back as it makes sense as the stock is moving sideways. But because of the nice moves up on the stock does have the ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines. Anything you want to add to that, man?
Covered it well, Glenn.
Excellent. Go to the next stock. Google. Man, up and down and all around. And here we go. Right now, the stock's currently above the 20-day exponential moving average. Did a little consolidation. Even with the news of the suit, investors are still pushing the stock up higher. Interesting. RT is above 1. Earnings per share looks good. Not a lot more I want to say about it. I really want to see if the news is going to affect it with the suit. If nothing else, if you own Google right now, I'd either buy a protective put or I would tighten my stop, one of the two. Anything else, my friend?
No, that's good advice. I don't think Google's going anywhere. So
All right. Next one, Skyworks. Ooh, so remember the story? What did the story say, Clayton? You remember that the iPhone should boost up Skyworks? Well, it ain't happening yet. And this is why we go beyond the news. This is just why we go beyond the news. So the news says that, yeah, Skyworks could be getting ready to take off because 5G and Apple, da-da-da-da. Okay. Stock is pulling back off its high.
right.
The stock is sitting right at that 20-day exponential moving average. Now, I like the earnings per share. They make money. But price action is not backing up right now. Earnings growth, they make money, but earnings growth is negative. RT is above 1, but pulling back. Even the stock's ability to withstand long and lengthy price declines is starting to pull back a little bit. Skyworks is a stock that I like the news on. I got to wait for the right time to buy.
Yeah.
And you know something, maybe if it can bounce off of this 20-day and start moving up, that might be a good opportunity. But right now, even though the news looks good, let the trade come to you. Clayton?
Exactly.
And that's huge. Let the trade come to you. All right. And that's all those stocks that I wanted to look at there on my stocks. And it's great. This is why I mean we give you the rest of the story. We give you the rest of the story. The news is one thing. Being able to have a tool like the VectorVest software is designed to help you to make the better decisions, not just off of the news. And that's why you want to have a trial. And here we give a trial to the software. And if you want to take advantage of it, you can do so. But nonetheless, this is the power behind Trending Thursday. This is the power. How do you let the trade come to you? Money. So in that last trade, VectorVest, look at the graphs. In that last trade, when I say let the trade come to me, view the stock graph, scroll down, put it on 3-month graph. So what did I say? That this, I'm waiting for the trade to come to me. Instead of buying it now, let the trade, let's see if this level of the 20-day exponential moving average can hold. Because it did here and it went back up. It didn't here and it went down. It broke through. This is letting the trade come to me. Wait for the stock to break through that level of that 20-day exponential moving average before you buy. If I'm thinking about getting into it now, let's see if it'll bounce off of that level of the 20-day exponential moving average before I go and buy into the stock. So Monty, hopefully that's what I mean by that. All right? That's what I mean by that. Let the trade come to you. How do I try the Jockey Club? Joey put a link in there for all of the special deals from the summit. One of the deals is for the Jockey Club. It's called www.vectorvest.com/red hot. That gets you $29 to get you into the Jockey Club for 30 days. All right.